It's time to sell what you know. When I talk to various people, many used to say, well, it's very good, but is it really for me? My reply is yes. My dear, it's for you. I mean you. And believe me, I really mean it. Let me tell you why you. Better let's unfold like why not you? What is your fear? Do you know what is fear? Fear is false evidence appearing real. Do you have any such fears? While talking to many people like you, what I have noticed that generally there are two big fears. Number one, hey, how can I tell people to do certain things in a certain way? Do I have the authority to do that? No, you are not doing that. What you are telling, look, I have done like this and it worked for me. You may like to try it. I am sharing my experience, what I have done, what has worked for me, or for that matter, not worked for me. I have handled this mess in my life in this way and ultimately succeeded in overcoming it. This was my way of doing it, which worked. You may like to see it. You are not giving any sermon to do things. You are telling what you have done, what you own it, what you are master at. Don't you feel you will not have any problem in sharing your experience, your way of doing the things? When I tell them like this, they say, okay, 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 I got it. I can share my experience. But I have a doubt. How come what worked for me will work for everybody? No, no, it may not, and possibly it will not. I am not targeting all. I am targeting to my dot. What is dot? Dot refers to my ideal client. We call it Ashwin, who were exactly in the same circumstances, who are experiencing the same problem. So believe me, if we have identified our dot correctly, what we are talking will resonate with them. And do you know, the most beautiful part is even this dot is actually in millions. So there are no dearth of similarly placed people who could get benefited by your learnings. Tell me, when so much people are waiting from you to learn what could make their life easy, how could you not do it? Is it not unfair on your part? My dear friend, what I am talking is for you. Yes, people are waiting to listen your story. So, are you ready? I am sure you are. But now, you will tell me, education was always there. Why there is so much fuss about self-education now? Let me ask you a question. Why do we go for higher education? Why do we go to college? Obviously to increase skills, what we have, so that we can make more money. But is it happening? No. The traditional education has badly failed. It's not very uncommon. You graduated in something and doing entirely different thing in life. People are left to learn from life by their own experiences, and so they keep struggling. They are looking for some knowledge from someone who has already gone through it. Why should they reinvent the wheel? People are willing to pay for that experience. People are willing to pay for speed of learning. Imagine you have passed through a mess and say in 5 years, struggling various options, you have overcome that. You have overcome that mess successfully. And now that's a message. That's a message for someone. And now you have a blueprint which anybody can follow and overcome the same stress successfully. Tell me, have you got this knowledge 5 years earlier? Don't you feel your life could have been different? And that's the power of self-education industry. And no wonder this self-education industry is projected to be over $1 trillion by 2028. Believe me, everybody here knows how to do something better than someone, isn't it? So in other words, everybody is having something to teach others. And as I mentioned, you teach what you know. You teach what you have already done. You are not saying how to do XYZ, but you are saying how I did XYZ. I am not saying how you should eat healthy food. I am saying I eat this healthy food. Right? And so then people are like, oh, he is not projecting on me. He is just saying what worked for him. And that's all. And that's all you have to do. Just focus on the realm of what you know. And the beautiful thing about that is you become beyond reproach. No one can point out. No one can point their finger and be like, he doesn't know what he is talking about. Isn't it? I'm not saying this how you should do it. I'm just saying this is how I have done it. And I hope it serves you. Okay? And so what happens? You get in this place of security because you know that beyond this is fact. You have done it. And no one can contest that. And it is one of the biggest shifts that I had to make in learning. How to communicate the skills. You don't have to invent something new. You don't have to take other people's stuff. Though that also you can do and report upon. All you have to do is say, hey, this is a problem I struggle with. I know how you feel. I felt the same way until I found this thing. And then you have to share your finding. And that too, not to everybody, but to your dot. You are with me? And once you are ready with that, it all boils down to how are we going to teach it. How are we going to deliver this? And this brings us to the third why. If your dot are in millions, how you can serve them? Until recently, reaching to your dot globally was a big issue. Today, technology permits to leverage the power of digital media. You see, I have created this video and millions of people can watch it at the same time with the same effect. And when you create your course digitally, guess what? You switch from being a service provider, that is in-person business, to a media business, a course business. And that's when everything gets changed. I am a living proof in front of you. But let first me tell you, what is the leverage? It's a big fancy term that all people use. But all it really means is what you get in versus what you get out. So, if you have a lot of leverage, you get a little in and a lot out. And so the goal in life is to get more and more leverage on the thing that we do. Okay? And so for me, I tapped into one form of leverage, which was media. When you make a course, you are using media as a leverage. You can record something one time and a million people can see it at the same time. You don't have to talk to every single person individually. And that's leverage. All right. And so, when I made this transition, I could just get them in my course and give them this perfect experience. Does that make sense for everybody? Is that cool? Great. If you guys want a fun fact for you. There are 4 types of leverage you can use. Number one is other people who do work for you because they are doing the work rather than you spending your time. Number 2 is other people money, where they give you money and then you can use that money to buy things that gives you leverage on the time it took to make the money. Okay? Number three is media, which is what we are talking about. You can record something once and millions of people can see it, or one person can see it. That's the same amount of time. And number 4, any guess? Number 4 is software. You build something one time and it can serve millions and millions of people. Now, software is really hard to do. But media is something that anybody can do it. You and I can do it. It's very simple. That's why digital media is such a cool opportunity. Believe me, I'm not just talking. I believe in the space and I believe education is the future. And I have dedicated rest of my life to this. Apart from leverage, Why is digital such a cool thing? Number one, it's 100% gross margin. Again, it's just a fancy word of saying when you say you don't have any cost. Whatever comes in is almost your profit. Contrary to the other forms of business, where if I want to make a sale, you need men, money, material, machine, everything will be needed, including supply chain, inventory, everything you will have to border. Everything you will have to border. But here, there is a click, and guess what? 100% of that money goes right into your pocket. That is 100% gross margin. So, if you want to have a high margin business, selling what you know is a wonderful business, which is why we believe it. And do you know the most beautiful part is there is no new work for any customer. You see, my whole online course is fully automated. People come and purchase the course, they study and get benefited. Because we are talking to our dot. Nowhere my personal involvement is there. It is one of the things that I love very much. Everybody feels like I am giving a personalized solution. Not because you have made it personal, but because you very narrowly defined who you were helping and how you can help. You have defined your dot very perfectly, and that makes big sense. It's a very big point. And a final point on this media piece. Do you know it is where the newest wealth in the world is being created? If you will closely look at big companies, look at Amazon. What do they sell? They have a captive audience. They sell the media, the eyeballs, and people were in the subscription, where they can directly market them to get more products. Look at Facebook. What do they have? They have the audience. They have audience of the entire world. They sell media. Look at the Google. What do they do? Again, they sell media. The media is where all of the wealth in the world is being created. And the beauty is that there is no cost and you can infinitely scale. All right. Are you with me? It's time to sell what you know. Let me tell you why now. Why is now the time right? Because you will say there has been plenty of time to do this in the past. Listen, I don't want to be a doomsday guy. That's not my vibe. But you see, what's happening? The economy is shifting. You are watching recession, high inflation. We all have started to feel it. How do you protect against inflation? How do you protect yourself against a recession? You protect by increasing your earning capacity, isn't it? And skills are the best hedge against inflation. Because whether you are trading in dollars of last year or inflated dollars, it doesn't matter what you are trading your skill for. You can always trade in the currency, because if the currency inflates, you are still trading the value, and you can just adjust the price. And that is one of the beauties that will protect you, no matter what the environment is for the inflation. It's a huge point here. If there is one thing to write down from this video, write down: skills are the greatest hedge against inflation. Number two, instead of thinking about like investing your money in the Nifty, or even say globally in the S&P 500 stocks, we have all heard this step for a very long time. If you were to put $1,000 in long run, you can expect 10% a year return. So you get $100. That's awesome. But instead of investing in the Nifty or S&P 500, my ask to you is that you invest in you. Yes, you have heard it correctly. You invest in you, because I promise you, if you put $1,000 into your skill set, you can triple your earnings in a weekend time. You can learn the skill which can start giving you return even in a week time. And believe me, that can be much more than what you get elsewhere. The conventional education is not delivering the results expected. And that's why, if there is one thing you can write down after the skills, which I mentioned, that skills are the ultimate hedge against inflation, is that I am going to take my money and invest in myself. Okay? Great. Now let me tell you, if you are watching this video, it means you are already at right place. Here I am going to help you with the world best knowledge and skill set on three things. Number one, how to create an amazing offer out of the knowledge you have. Wait, if you still feel that you have nothing to offer, don't worry. As I mentioned, you can become a reporter. Catch hold of some knowledgeable person and become a reporter of his knowledge. Okay? Number two is marketing, so that you can attract your ideal client, you can attract your Ashwin. And number three, obviously, sales, to help you earn profit. So before I close, let me recapitulate the 5 points I mentioned. Okay? Number one is why you can do this. Now you know that, you understand that. Number two, why education is a huge opportunity. Markets is shifting from the old school to the new school. Alternative education is the way, and it is said to be a $1 trillion industry in making. Number three is what we are going to do. It is digital. Digital media is the way. It is where all the newest billionaires are being created. Why? Because it costs you nothing and never goes bad. And number 4, why now? There has never been a better time to invest in skills. It is the ultimate hedge against inflation. And if there is anything that is going to get you better return than the stock market, it's you. Your investment in you. And the last point I said, that is the point number 5. If you are going to do that, do with the best. Do with the mentor who have already done it. Look, in Winning Squad Hub, we have already done what we are talking about. I am going to share lots of exciting things on the exclusive Facebook page I have created at facebook.com/wsh.projectwheel. Do follow and like this place. See you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye.